The other day, headlines started going around on like Twitter and stuff about a Twitch streamer that she identifies as a dog, sleeps in a crate, and goes to the bathroom outside. You may have seen the headline. You probably formed an opinion. If you didn't see the headline and form an opinion then, you've formed an opinion already from just at this point of the video. I know I did. But I actually watched, I read the article, I watched the interview. I'm going to take a look at it now before I go into my thoughts on the issue.
My name is Meow, like a cat, but I am a dog.
Why did you call yourself Meow then?
Hey, you know, it's kind of like, whenever you have a really small dog, like a Chihuahua, and you name it Hercules.
You have a boyfriend?
Handlers. They feed me, they take me on walks. We practice training, which is one of my favorite things because I get treats.
So if you go out into the backyard and you do a poo, do you wipe it on the grass?
Sometimes. I have before. Typically, though, you know, it's either raining or something, so I gotta get over myself and I gotta use the human toilet, I guess.
Do you do that in the park? Like, do people give you funny looks?
You know, I don't find myself focusing on what other people, I guess, are their reaction toward me, because I'm so in the moment of just being the dog.
When you do have sex, is it only doggy style, or do you do human things?
Yeah, that's her thing. She acts like a dog on stream, apparently, in everyday life. Now, I'm going to say, if you're going to the bathroom in a public park like that, like a dog, that's probably some form of indecent exposure if people are seeing you. But, you know, plus, I don't know where she's from, but, you know, generally a lot of places have laws about public urination and defecation, so there's probably some crime involved in that. But I'm not actually here to judge that. I'm not even here to judge the whole pretending to be a dog thing. I don't care. It doesn't affect me. I'm not her friend, her family, even if I was friend or family, it doesn't affect me. I mean, okay, it might actually have a bit of an impact on my life if I was directly involved in hers, but I'm not. I don't really care. I don't know these people. Up until the other day, I had no clue who these people were. I didn't know who these people were. But what I do know is she's doing this on Twitch. I went because I thought maybe there's some media bias, because I have an opinion on this. And I thought maybe there's some media bias that's pushing it to be something it's not. We watched enough of that to know that it probably isn't. But, you know, give her the benefit of the doubt. I went to her Twitch channel. I watched some clips from her streams. And my opinion didn't change, because the way I feel is she is taking fetish content and exposing it to an audience of people that are 13 plus. Now, she says she doesn't do adult content. In the article, it did say she did actually say that she doesn't do the dog thing when having sex. She just has normal, everyday, you know. But if you identify, I'm not even gonna. I don't want to get into all of this, but like, she identifies as a dog, but spends most of the time doing human things. So she doesn't really identify as a dog. She identifies as a person that does dog things sometimes. And she says in the thing, she said it wasn't for attention. Like, she doesn't really care what people think and all that. But she's on social media. Clearly, it's for attention. If it wasn't for attention, she would be doing it in private and you know, and all of that. I don't care what other people think, but you're on Twitch doing it. You're on fucking all the social medias doing it. It's clearly about the attention. But it's also clearly a fetish thing. Like, all the gear that she wears is fetish attire. Like, that's all stuff you get from stores and websites that sell that adult stuff. So just because you're doing safe for work content with it, where you have your clothes on and it's not really sexual in nature, doesn't mean it's not a kink thing. It bothers me. It really bothers me. Like, there's a lot of on Twitch. If you go on Twitch, especially at nighttime, go on Twitch, go through the just chatting categories, and there's a lot of people pushing this heavy sexualized content on an audience of 13 plus, like, viewers and stuff. And yeah, okay, I was exposed to some weird bondage and kink stuff when I was younger than 13 plus, because that's the thing too, is it's 13 plus, but we all know that kids lie about it. We all did it. We're all like 10 years old going, yeah, I was born in 1942. Let me on your website, right? Like, we actually don't know if I was 10 because the internet was new at that time, but I was young and I was exposed to adult content the same way that everybody else was, looking up lyrics to House of Pain's Jump Around, going to a website that was like houseofpain.com and finding out right away that was not the band's website because the band wasn't together anymore. They didn't need a website, so they didn't register the domain, and you suddenly don't really care about the lyrics that you were looking for, and so then you end up looking through other things, and you end up on Yahoo chats talking to some pedophiles, and they help you expose you to even more stuff. And that is how normal people are exposed to this content, not through Twitch. That was a bit of a personal. I got a little bit personal there. I don't know if that's actually a shared experience with everybody else, but also it shouldn't be even what that isn't normal. And now that it's, like 30 years later, the internet should be a better place so stuff like that doesn't happen. But what we got is now, instead of waiting 5 minutes for a picture to load, we got live streaming, so you get to watch all of this content when you're, again, 13 plus. And people that keep saying, all these people on Twitch are like, oh, my content's not for kids or whatever. My audience aren't kids. Like, your audience is kids. Trust me. Like, I don't know. Like, I watch Twitch sometimes. I know a few adults that do, but most of the people I know that watch the streaming, like Twitch and stuff, are the younger people, not so much the older crowds. Trust me, your audience is children. You are exposing children to fetish content. You can try to say you're not, you can try to justify it any way you want, but you are exposing children to fetish content. This girl in question here doesn't even have her Twitch settings to say that it should be aimed for a mature audience, because as she says, she doesn't make adult content. She doesn't feel there's a need to have any kind of age restriction or warning or anything like that. But again, it's a woman sitting in fetish gear, talking normal, and then every now and then doing some weird quirky dog things, acting like a dog. And trust me, this stuff exists on the internet, all in many forms, but it's all for people to, pleasure themselves to. It's adult content, whether or not she's clothed, whether or not it's sexual in nature or not. It is what it is. Like, you can try to say it's something else, but it is what it is, and it's fetish stuff. Like, I don't care that you're gonna pretend it's not. It is. What you're doing is exposing children to the fetish content, and it's wrong. I didn't want to even put the the woman's name on this video because I don't want to encourage people to go to her social medias to to harass her or anything like that. I just want to voice my opinion and say that people like this are disgusting. I think it's like, I don't care that you're doing this in your own time. I don't actually care what your kinks are. I just think that you don't need to expose children to this, especially because you're like, I don't care what the public thinks, then why are you putting it online? Especially on sites aimed and geared more towards the younger crowds. Like, that's all you're doing. And I don't know, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe Twitch doesn't have a problem with pushing heavy sexualized content towards children, but it doesn't. It has this problem. Last year they had to do several things to address the fact that for some reason, randomly, people decided they were going to just start pushing this heavily sexualized content on children, and it's disgusting. You're all pedophiles. I don't care if you're actually doing anything sexual with the children or not. You're pushing sexual content on children. You're grooming them in a sense. Even though you're not doing it one-on-one, you're doing it in a group setting. You're group grooming. You're mass grooming them, and it's disgusting. People are like, oh, the trans community is doing this and stuff like that. They're just trying to live their normal lives and feel like that they can be who they want to be, where this is fetish stuff. This isn't she wasn't like, I feel like I'm a dog. She sits and talks like a person most of the time. If she felt like she was a dog, she would be a dog all the time and wouldn't really be doing a camera and talking like a human and stuff. She'd be in a mental institution. But this is getting off the rails, and now this is getting into grounds that's going to get me in trouble because it's going to definitely get misconstrued to think other things I'm not trying to say. I don't care what she does in her free time. I care that it's being pushed on a young audience. It's disgusting. Stop it. Stop all of it. This whole, just everything. Go on Twitch. Don't, because that's how I'm gonna, that almost encouraging to like go and like harass people or whatever. But like, if you go on Twitch, you see it all. It's all there, and it's disgusting because the audience is children. It's disgusting.